I am very happy to be talking with Kelly de La Rocha today of Poem Renovation. How are you today, Kelly?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for having me, Elizabeth.
So I met you and I was just captivated by what you are up to and what you're creating. I said, I need to get her on my podcast so that more people can hear about this. I just thought it was so cool. You have these word blocks that you can create different poems with and all of that. Can you share a little bit about this with people?
Absolutely. Well, there's actually two aspects to what I do. So, Poem Renovation is an arts based word challenge that's used in elder care and in education as well. And it started out mainly as a digital platform, kind of like Wordle. It's different every day. If you go to poemrenovation.com and hit try poem renovation, you can play with a scrambled snippet of literature. It's between 30 and 40 words from a poem, a book, or a song. There are no rules. The sole objective is to create. And
Mm.
so you can, make your own creation from the words there, see the original author, and then share what you make with your friends online. Um, and so I was using that a lot in education and the general public. We have people who think that's fun to do too. But I started last year introducing poem renovation to the elder care population and
Mm.
found that a printed version is often better for people who would prefer a more tactile experience, or maybe they're not tech savvy. And so I figured out that we needed to come up with a tactile version of this that was fun to use and easy to read. And so, with the help of a 3D printer, the company is called CT3D, I have developed these little word blocks.
So cool.
And there are different little sets. I love them. There are just different little sets, and each set is from a little piece of literature. So it might be a part of a song, it might be a part of a poem, and I've got 9 different sets, including spooky glow in the dark ones right now. All sorts of people are starting to use them, from writers who are looking for inspiration and new word combos, to I've got a holistic psychotherapist who's using them in her practice with her clients, flipping all the words upside down and then turning them over one at a time and creating mystery poems, and then looking at how does this speak to us? Is it for us? Is it for someone else? Is do we want to add more words? What words want to be added? I had a woman the other day get some who is a hospice volunteer, and she's going to be using them with her clients that she works with. And it's just such an honor to be able to bring the joy of language to people in a new format.
And I
That's
know
what.
when we were talking, you were sharing that originally you were thinking it would be for in the education space and that would be the main place that it would be used. And it's so cool that it has opened up to being something. I love seeing how the universe works and the muse works and all of that, right? That you were open to it kind of shifting gears and opening up this whole thing that wasn't even on your radar at the
Absolutely.
beginning. How did that happen?
Well, when I first started out with the digital version, I released it as at a writers conference. I am a writer as well. I'm a
Mhm.
journalist and have written poetry since I was a teenager. And so I was at the International Women's Writing Guild conference, and I showed everybody, like, look what I came up with. And at that conference, teachers started to come up to me and say, I need this in my classroom. I feel like my students can really benefit from it. So I said, okay. I didn't know where this was going to go. And so I started going into classrooms with it. And what was really cool right off the bat was seeing that with the freedom the platform offered the students, there are no rules. And so, I tell them, you can't do this wrong. The words are there for you. You don't even need to think them up. You just need to arrange them in a way that sounds good to you. That freedom led to the realization that social emotional learning was the real value of poem renovation in the schools. And
Mm.
I'm still working with the schools, and I'm very excited to bring the word blocks now in so that we can have a screen free way as
Mm.
well to express. So I was working with the schools, and just like this past summer, I thought about how this might be good for other populations as well. And I had a friend who worked in the elder care industry, and I got in touch with him and said, "Hey, I would love to try this out with your the people you serve. And so he said, sure, I'll see if I can get one facilitator to take it on. And he wound up getting 9. And so and I
Right.
went up to he's the former CEO of United Church Homes, which is based in Ohio. So I went out not this past July, the one before, and trained facilitators. And since then, it has just taken off. And what's been the coolest thing of all is the people in memory care are the ones who, I don't know, it seems to work the most magic for.
Mm,
It's like each of these little words is like a little door.
mm.
It's opening up to memories and to conversation and just laughter. I have so many stories that I could tell you about the amazing things. The very first time I saw the magic at work, I was there in Ohio, and there was a daughter who had come to visit her mom, Joyce, who lived in a memory care facility. And so Joyce was working with the words very intently, and her daughter, Tammy, was sitting there, and she looked kind of honestly skeptical, but she's watching her mom. And this was the first time I had really been working with the senior population, and I was worried. I thought, oh, she's skeptical. She's going to say this is bogus or whatever. But a little while later, she came up to me and she had tears in her eyes, and she said to me, "My mom was connecting words that made sense together. I didn't think she could do that anymore," and that just blew me away.
That's so beautiful.
And
Ah.
I know,
Yeah, it's
I
making me
know,
cry.
and
Yeah.
it wasn't a one-off. I've been back again, and this April I lived for 2 weeks in an elder care facility out in Ohio, working with the staff, working with the people who live there. And I saw, people with real challenges as far as memory went, sit down with the words, and all of a sudden it was like it flipped on a light switch.
Mm.
And they were captivated by those words. They were remembering stories that the words brought up. I had one woman that asked me at the end for a pencil and paper so that she could write down what she had created because she was so proud of what she had done. And just little moments of joy like that have so much value.
It's amazing. How did you come up with the idea in the first place?
Ah,
Yes.
no. So
We need the origin story. I need to.
very good story. Well, let me start again. It has roots in my teenage years.
Mm.
So I started writing poetry when my parents were divorcing. I was 17 years old. It felt like my world was falling apart, and poetry was the only thing that could help me make sense of what I was going through. It worked. And so since then, I've always been a writer. I became a journalist when I grew up, and I always kept those poems that I originally wrote. And during COVID, when again it felt like my whole world was blowing up, I started to think about that poetry I had written when I was 17. And I knew that that was a snapshot of me as I was at that age, but it didn't necessarily represent me accurately as an adult after having so many other life experiences. But I thought, I wonder, had a lot of time to think during COVID,
Yeah.
that first poem I ever wrote and rearranged the words. Could I find myself in that poem
Mm.
rearranged? And
Mm.
I made some word magnets to put on my refrigerator. And long story short, it worked. It was really cool. And so I don't know, I just felt like I needed to share that experience of taking something previously established and rearranging it and making it your own. And I didn't know how, but I started talking about it. And here comes a coder, a volunteer coder, out of the blue, willing to work with me on this. It was a friend of my daughter's, and so we started going back and forth and figuring it out. And in March of 2022, the first version of the digital poem Renovation came to life. As I told you, I debuted it at a writers conference, and then after that, started working with the schools, and then have moved on to elder care. During the journey, I've won twice at the Yale Innovation Summit. I'm starting to be, yeah.
That's so cool.
And honestly, I mean, I am 58 years old. I am at an age when a lot of people are thinking about retiring, and I feel like I'm just getting started. I have finally given myself permission to see the value in my creativity,
Mm.
and I have trusted it finally, and this is where it's taking me. And I'm being asked to speak at conferences now, and
Mm,
I've got a couple. I've got one coming up in Ohio in October. I've got one with a respite organization in March. I've got one
mm,
with Eden Alternative as well in March, which is in Atlanta, and it's just fascinating to see where your creativity can bring you.
mm.
And I
And
can't imagine anything better than being able to offer, a way to add light to the world.
mm, it's so beautiful. And I love seeing a way of helping people find expression, right? This creative expression is so important, and so many people in time have gotten it like turned off or shut down or what have you. And it's so healthy for us to be able to have this. And I love that you've created both a way that has a digital way of accessing it and also a physical way of accessing it, a tactile way. It's so neat that it's you can do both of these things and find a way for poetry and words to live in the world. Um,
Be accessible, and
yeah.
that's why having both of those versions, and also letting people know that there's no wrong answer. I think all of us have been
Mm.
told that we're not doing something right, that we're not good enough in our past, and those things stick with us. And so let's erase that, and let's go back and try again and realize that yes, we can, and what we have to offer the world has so much value. And yeah, to be able to have a way to do that for people is just such a thrill.
Mm.
And my
And
little bags, look at, I've got my little bags of word salad
yes.
on
So
our
cool.
website,
Yeah.
and they're so fun.
Yeah. And the glow in the dark ones, I've gotten to see those in person. They really glow. They're like
Really do.
legit, They work very well. It's
Yeah,
so
there are
fun.
3 different spooky versions that
Yes.
that you can get, and they're all up there on the website. I'm learning so much about being a founder and doing something on your own like this. You do everything.
Hmm.
I have some people that are working on coding for me, but for my landing page right now, I've been doing a lot of that on my own and
Hmm.
learning so much.
I know. It's so fun. And I can't get away from this idea of that you created this from what just flowed out of you as a natural expression of you. And that's so neat that it's landing with other people. And I love this idea of taking like our 19-year-old self, I think you were 17, 19, something like that, like who we are now is right kind of a rearranged
Definitely is.
version of ourselves, right, in a way.
Cool thing about the software right now, every day there's just one passage on there. It's
Hmm.
different every day, but soon I'm working with coders to make a subscription based version of the software that'll allow you to put your own writing in there,
Oh,
um,
that's cool.
and do a lot of different tricks like that with it, so you can experience that as well in an easy way without having to print out your work and put it on the refrigerator.
Right.
Yeah, I want everybody to be able to try that and see what it's
Yeah.
like. Let's rearrange the past. Let's see what we can do to reimagine it and
Mhm.
help it. You never know.
You said you have a few different collaborations that are going there in the works. Can you talk a little bit about that?
It, this is one of the other amazing things that has happened because of this. Well, look at, I got to meet you.
Right.
And along the way, I've got one major collaboration that I have going on right now, is with an organization called Opening Minds Through Art. And
Mm,
that's an organization that does abstract art with dementia patients.
mm,
And the director and I had been conspiring to do something together for a long time, because what she's doing and what that organization is doing is the same as what I'm doing, but just with a different medium. And in April, we were able to meet up in Ohio. It seems like everything's happening in Ohio.
who knew? Now we know.
We met up in Ohio and we did a program where we had people who are living with memory challenges, and they first wrote poems with the poem Renovation words, and then they did paintings that were inspired by that. And I actually have a show and tell.
Oh, show and tell.
I do. Let me see if I can turn it around here. This is This is
Oh, I love that. That's so pretty.
And this was done by Marietta, and she was 99 when she did this.
Mm,
And the words are part of the poem, The Best Things, or the song, The Best Things in Life Are Free. And so those
oh,
are the words we worked with, and then we did
mm,
painting as well. And it's just such a special memory. She is my spokesmodel, Marietta. These are
mm.
my postcards right here. This is her.
Oh,
Did that.
wonderful.
She sadly just passed away at age 100, but
Oh,
I was able to do this with her before that happened, and a very special memory.
mm,
And so cool to be able to collaborate across generations. So with Opening Minds to Art, together we are actually going to be presenting together in March at the Eden Alternative Conference in Atlanta, which is
nice.
exciting. And we're hoping that we can do more things together so that we can use these two similar but still different forms of art and self-expression, just to help people to open up even more and access more of that creative energy that we all have in us, but are sometimes afraid to let out.
Mm. It is so beautiful. And I thank you for everything that you're doing with people in the world. And, I obviously care so much about the people that are older. That's something that's very near and dear to my heart, of people that might be feeling a little lost, right? And that you can find a way to give them some of their who they are again in a different way, right? That reconnection, and the people that love them too, that might also feel lost as well. And so that's really an incredible way. Um, it's so cool how your story of how this has come to be. I just love it.
It all
Um,
started with me feeling lost.
mm,
You know,
mm,
my parents were getting divorced,
yeah,
and writing is what brought me home.
right, right.
And so yeah, to be able to do that for others,
Mm,
it feels really lucky.
really cool. And how do people, what's the best way to connect with you? I know your website is poemrenovation.com.
Yep, poemrenovation.com, and there is a contact us section right at the bottom of that. On the website, you can hit try poem renovation and do the digital version, and it's different every day. It's free for everybody to use right
So,
now. And also, you can get yourself some word blocks if you want, and they're brand new, hot off the presses.
woo,
I have
woo. Off the 3D presses.
so fun, yeah. It's exciting to
And
be able to finally have them to offer. It's been a long time coming.
so neat. Is there anything else you'd want to have our listeners know that you haven't gotten to share yet?
How? Oh, let's see. A million things. You can do it. Number one, no
Mm,
matter what it is you want to do, you can do it. This is what I want you to know.
mm,
Trust in yourself and do, whatever it is that's in your mind that you
mm,
want to do. And as for with poem renovation, I would love to hear from you. I would love to see pictures of what you create with the words. If you have suggestions for me or ideas for me, or are a published author who might want their work featured on poemrenovation.com, I'm happy to do that for you. So get in touch.
mm. Thank you so much for taking time with us today, Kelly.
Oh, it was my pleasure, Elizabeth. Thank you.